I am Teko Modise, and we are here with the General Teko Modise. So we just wanted to find out from you, as a retired footballer, what is it that you are busy with currently?
As a retired footballer, what I'm busy with right now is being a super sport pundit. I've been working there for, I think, ever since I've retired. And a lot of ambassadorship. I'm also one of the ambassadors for Mamelodi Sundowns, one of the ambassadors as well for Hollywood Bets, and another couple of companies that I'm ambassadors for. And also I have a company that is called Prestigious Group. That's what I'm busy with currently.
So while you're busy with this, how has the journey been?
It was difficult because then you, as a footballer, once you retire, you enter into an unknown world. As much as you can prepare your mind, but you have to actually walk the journey for you to understand. And me being in the position that I never really had a conversation with somebody that retired as to ask them as to how retirement is. Because the first 2 years, most of the former footballers get into depression because you're so used to waking up in the morning and going to training. You've been doing that for all your life, and all of a sudden you can't do anything, then it stops. So lucky for me, once I retired over the weekend, the next weekend I started working. So I never really had a break as to try and figure out things as to what is it that I wanted to do. But it was a very difficult transition, just to being the person that never liked to be in front of the camera to actually now work in front of a camera. It's weird. And also a person that is not outspoken as me, and to be able to understand that all my jobs now requires me to talk, and it's quite challenging.
So at the moment, are you doing anything that is related to soccer?
Yeah, I mean, at Supersport, you analyze the games every weekend. That's football related. Mamelodi Sundowns, we talk about football, that's football related. I think those are the only two elements that I work with that are football related. Other stuff is just different. Hollywood Bets is more corporate, Prestige is also more corporate, and also a lot of ambassadorship for NetBank as well. That's more like on the corporate side, also / football. So it's just a nice balance.
So in 2014, there were reports that you were struggling financially. How did we get to that point?
I've never struggled financially, to be honest with you. There was, at some point, what happened was I've always I found comfort in downgrading. As a person that I was, at the height of my career, the expectations were me having all these material things. When one doesn't have those, the first thing that comes out is Hasana Chalete. But at that time, I realized who I was. So there were a couple of things that I needed to change in my life, because then I felt like everybody comes into my life to take. So let me get rid of the things that they want to take and see who stays in my life. And that was not something that I could stand on the podium and make a press conference to the news and tell them. So I just needed to do that personally for myself, and it worked. The reason why I'm still here, it's because of those decisions that I made. They were very uncomfortable when you're used to driving certain comfortable cars, staying in certain areas. But when you do downgrade, you stand a chance of being ridiculed, and that's exactly what happened. But I didn't care, because I knew what my truth was. And like I said, like I never really had financial issues.
Mm-hmm. So during your years as a football player, would you say maybe there are times where you took bad financial decisions?
Yeah, there's a lot of times. I'm sure every season that I played, there's a lot of times that I did. Look, I think one of the things that stood out was I remember buying an Aston Martin. And within the Aston Martin, which is a car, people thought it was millions and millions, but it was within the means of me being able to afford it. But because footballers are not supposed, culturally, we were not supposed to drive with certain cars, then it became a thing that I'm wasting money. But it was it's the same, the value of that car was the same value as a different brand. It's just that I chose that car. But also I bought it because I was trying to fill up the void that I had. I've always been that person. Whenever I feel pain, whenever I feel this, I wanted to fill a void by buying something that will make me feel a little bit better. But also because I didn't understand who I was. So me dealing with or doing a lot of things that are wrong financially was because I didn't understand who I was. So I was trying to make myself happy by buying things. And like I said, every season that I played, possibly I at some point I made a bad financial decision.
And how did that, maybe looking back at that, how do you feel about it now?
It's ridiculous, right? But it's a school fees that you pay for you to get better. Unfortunately, the some that are unable to recover and get better to be able to understand it. For me, thank God that I was able to recover and able to learn from my mistakes and do things better, but also because I was comfortable with the person that I was. I didn't need to show anything to the public or to the masses that I am this certain person. So I started being comfortable. And I think that came with staying in Cape Town. So because the lifestyle in Cape Town, it's very relaxed, it's very chilled, everybody's minding their own business. So I got to learn that culture. And when I came back to Joburg, I still stuck to that culture where I'm very comfortable who I am. I don't need to walk into a sitting room dressed in a certain way. I'm very comfortable, and that comfortability, it makes me also being comfortable in dealing with money.
Okay, so looking back at your life, good and bad memories, how would you advise the youngsters or young footballers?
Look, I still believe that, first of all, I would say, me as a footballer, I always felt that I was underpaid in every team that I played for. And I still believe that in South African football, we'll never get paid well enough to be able to sustain your lifestyle even after retirement. So the best thing that I can tell them is understand that there's going to be a day where you're going to feel like you have to retire. And nobody's immortal. That day is going to come. As a youngster, I always felt that I'll play until I'm 40. No, it didn't happen. The sooner you start, I think the better, because then it gets to be part of your lifestyle. I think the sooner they start making themselves aware that money is important, it's valuable, and they need to save it as much as they can. And also, like, they need to fit in and belong as soon as possible, because those are the characteristics of now wanting to spend more money because we want to please everybody else. And I think choose the right group, choose the right people in front of you, and don't make a mistake of going to Ubaras Banban for financial advice.
So from what you said, I picked up that you believe that footballers need to be educated about financial literacy. Is there maybe someone that you look up to, an elder, or maybe a couple of friends who have been maybe your shoulder, or some random people who maybe advise you on how to work on your finances?
Unfortunately, I didn't, because then I was the face of everything, right? The face of McDonald's, the face of the World Cup. So there was a lot of sponsorship my way. So I broke the barriers of corporate looking at footballers differently. So when that happened, even the uncles that I never knew existed, they wanted to come. So I had a lot of people coming into my life, and they're all coming to take. So there was nobody that set me down like, look, you need to do this and this and this. You only learn by your failures. So I learned from the failures that happened, because then when my football career at the time got disrupted, I started seeing people moving away from me, because then they were just riding on the wave of Teko Modise. I'm friends, I'm his uncle, I'm this, I'm this. So I made a lot of mistakes because I was trying to please them, and I was trying to spend as much money as I can on them because I wanted them to like me. And I think that's the biggest mistake that I've done. But once everybody got moved away from me, I started, it was painful, but I started understanding that if I don't like myself enough, I'll forever buy people to like me. And I started liking myself. I started being kind also to myself more. And I started asking questions. I even asked random people. There was no literally one person that I asked. I asked everybody from corporate to a petrol attendant, to everybody that cared to listen. I started asking them how they value money, what they see in money, how do they see money. And within all those elements and conversations that you have around, then I started, creating my own version of how I see money because of all the money that is coming in.
So how did you bounce back from wanting to spend a lot of money on unnecessary things like maybe making people like you, and buying those 6 pair of shoes at once? How did you bounce back from that?
Cape Town saved my life. I think moving to Cape Town saved my life in a sense that I realized all the material things that I had, they don't exist in Cape Town. And And as black people that are from Joburg, we all want to stay in holiday houses in Cape Town. So that's where rich people stay. But when you look at them, because I remember what actually really, really changed my mind was I bumped into some guy that was in real estate in Cape Town. And then he asked me who I was. And then I think we were waiting for our breakfast at the restaurant. Then I told him he was in flip-flops and a vest. But I was still dressed like a Joburg person. You know how Joburg is dressed. And then he gave me his business card, and then he said, like, if you want to chat, you want to do this. It made me so insecure with that business card. I didn't call him because I was so insecure. I realized, because I saw him when he drove out. He drove over with one of my favorite cars. But he looked so simple because he doesn't walk like he has money, because he's secure with the fact that he has it. He doesn't have to show it. Then I realized also that changed my mind. I said, okay, cool, which means I'm very insecure with myself and I'm clothing my insecurity. I want to look this way so that people don't know that I don't have it like that. But then that changed my mind, because of now you meet all these different people in Cape Town that actually tells you all the things that they're doing. But you look at them, you know, at the restaurant, they're eating the most simplest thing. They're not buying 6 bottles of champagne. They're just living a simple life. And I think for me, it was an eye-opener, because I never knew and understood what simple life means. But also, it depends on who you're talking to. But then that's how I bounced back. For me, realizing that I don't really need to look like a Christmas tree.
So what's that one thing that you know now that you wish you knew then?
The value of money. That's the one thing that I wish I knew better, the value of money, because honestly, I've wasted so much money in my life.
So any word of advice to the upcoming youngsters or the upcoming footballers?
The word that I will advise is I'll use the phrase that Coach Bicham Simani used to say, that be your best teammate, in a sense that, broadening it up as well, like Coach Rolando Mukwena would say, be a good person. I think with that, being a good person, understanding the importance of working in a group, understanding that everybody is important. As much as you want to be great, you need other people as well to help you become the best that you can be, and then make money, bro. Make money. I think that's important, because there's no need to be the greatest footballer of all time, but then we have to donate for you. That's a sad story. Making sure that the name that you represent at the back of your shirt, it is very, very important. You're not just representing, you're representing so many people behind, and use those people as a step ladder to push you forward to achieve greater things, because they benefit more in your achievements.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much.